Class 10, Chapter 1, Real Numbers, Exercise 1.1, Question number 3. An army contingent of 616 members is to march behind an army band of 32 members in a parade. The two groups are to march in the same number of columns. What is the maximum number of columns in which they can march? First, let us understand what the question is trying to ask with the help of an example. Let us take two groups of soldiers. Group 1 consists of 8 soldiers and Group 2 consists of 16 soldiers. Suppose these two groups are to march behind one another in n number of columns, where n must be an integer which exactly divides 16 and 8, which means n must be a common factor of both 16 and 8, and n can take the values 1, 2, 4 and 8. In the question, it has been mentioned that we need to find the maximum number of columns in which these two groups can march. Since we have taken the number of columns as n, for the maximum number of columns, we have to take the maximum value of n, which is 8. And thus, 8 is the highest common factor of 8 and 16. Now let us see how these groups can divide themselves into 8 columns. The group of 8 soldiers can divide themselves into 8 columns, where each column consists of 1 soldier. And the group 2, which consists of 16 soldiers, can divide themselves into 8 columns, in which each column consists of 2 soldiers. The two groups of soldiers could divide themselves into 8 columns because 16 and 8 are both divisible by 8, and since we had to find the maximum number of columns in which they can march, we took the highest common factor of the two numbers, which is 8. Now, in the question given to us, we have to find the maximum number of columns in which 616 members can march behind an army band of 32 members, such that both these groups march in the same number of columns. In other words, we have to find the HCF of 616 and 32, as we saw in the example. We will find the HCF of 616 and 32 by the Euclid's division algorithm. Since 616 is greater than 32, we will take 616 as the dividend and 32 as the divisor. Dividing these two numbers using the long division method, we get a quotient of 19 and a remainder of 8, and 616 can be represented as 32 times 19 plus 8. Since the remainder is not 0 at this step, we will move on to the next step, in which we will take the dividend as 32 and the divisor as 8. Again, we will divide these two numbers using the long division method. We get a quotient of 4 and a remainder of 0. 32 can be represented in the following manner. 32 equals 8 times 4 plus 0. We get a remainder of 0 here, which means 8 divides 32 exactly, and 8 is the HCF of 32 and 8. According to the Euclid's division lemma, we know that the HCF of the dividend and divisor is equal to the HCF of divisor and remainder. Hence, the HCF of 616 and 32 will be equal to the HCF of 32 and 8. Therefore, we have got our required answer. The HCF of 616 and 32 is 8, which means the two groups can march in a maximum of 8 columns.